people only gravitate to something that is higher than them currently, or in a higher manner, because our natural default is to gravitate bottom, to gravitate down. If we do nothing, we fall. As if we were to step off a cliff, we fall to the surface. Interesting. So we're always on the surface of what we're doing. And there's a quote that says, people tend to follow the people who are more disciplined than them. You can look at it in a way as people follow people who are higher than them, and what that person who is higher than them has something at a high level. So they are holders of the high level, basically, in that category. And that's what gravitates to them. And I think people are in awe of what they can do. People find themselves intrigued in what they can't do or can't grasp, in a way where it's like they aim for that and it's just out of reach. And because it was in reach, then they don't really care, and that's something that they skip over, right? It doesn't tickle their fancy for a while. So it's like something that's just so off the grasp, then they will follow them. So it's very interesting, that theme of people, following people, who get disciplined, who has a higher discipline than themselves. What that means is they're wanting to climb the ladder of any, it's information, power, whatever. They want to be on top. So if it's a hierarchy system, which it is, 9 times out of 10. And so they just want to follow them, climb the ladder. And that's the necessity of the story, is I'm giving you a bit of information in which you need to apply this to survive. And it only sets in when the complexity is subtle enough to intrigue our intellect at the level in which we are. Because if it's too complex, if the complexity is not subtle enough, it shows its face, then we can't reach its levels above. But if the complexity is subtle enough that we can grasp it, and just out of reach, or reach it, but it's like that grip strength when you're like, I'm reaching it, but I'm getting stretched to that level of then that is where growth happens. That is where they'll follow you, and so if you make it complex enough where it's subtle, where the complexity can hide behind subtlety, then you're in a good area. And so, you kind of have to look at it too, and like standard of deviation. If you're aiming for the masses, then you keep your subtlety there. It's very simple, very simple. And then if you're aiming for the highest, they can probably dive into your complexities. And but that's rare. That's a rare occasion. So when you're telling a story, when you're going through your journey, the story of life, the journey of life, because you want some sort of influence, or maybe that's what I want if I talk about it often. But I think people strive for influence because that means they're being heard and understood, which is a combination of being useful in a society to survive. So, I think people want to be influencers in some sort of way, even if they're the most introvert person, because they long to survive, and in order for that to happen, they need to be at the same place with someone else, because although it's a hierarchy system, it's also a teamwork system, because you can't if you're both the highest and the lowest, that means there's no team. But anyways, I think the message is, in order for you to gain influence, you must carry that bit of higher knowledge, bring it down to someone without understanding, lower, in a complex but subtle way, so that they can be brought up to your level, because that's what really you're telling them to do. Is you're trying to even out the hierarchy, and so the cool thing about this is, like, when you look at what Christ did, he was the highest, but he went to the lowest. And so that should tell you about your hierarchy system, is you should serve. So instead of being proud in what you carry, being humble in how you serve would fit that perfect and mature model, because that's what Christ was doing, is flipping the script to saying, look, human, you need someone to get you to that level of the highest of the highs. You can't do it on your own. And so it's really cool how he is the mediator between the highest of the highs and how we are at how we default to bottom. He defaults to ascension. So anti-gravity, which sounds cool. When you're telling a story, that's really what's happening, is you have a bit of information of survival, and if it's beautiful enough, it'll gain attention and gain consumption from the viewer. And when it gains consumption, hopefully it's put back with energy into the system so that the system can improve. That was interesting. All right, peace.